How commercially sold sea salt is safe for consumption. Saw a post elsewhere about someone taking a bottle of seawater and boiling the water out to get to the salt. And a lot of people in the comments were mentioning how the salt OOP had was full of fish poop and other nasties. If that's the case, then how is sea salt able to be sold in stores for people to use in cooking? Is there a way that commercially available sea salt is clean to remove all the nasties so we aren't eating that? If so, how then? Or is it not, and sea salt impurities are just better to not think about? For which my follow-up is, how then is that safe to sell, since those things are generally considered bad for your health? Commercial sea salt is made from clean seawater in controlled ponds, not a random bottle. The water is filtered, allowed to settle so grit and organics drop out, then evaporated until salt crystals form. Crystals of sodium chloride mostly exclude contaminants as they grow, and the wet salt is washed with saturated brine, centrifuged and kiln-dried. No water means microbes can't survive, and the product is screened and tested to food-grade limits for purity and heavy metals. If you boil a jug of seawater at home, you can scent it everything: mud, microbes, dissolved organics, without the settling or brine washing or testing. So you get salty crud. Store sea salts can still contain trace minerals and even tiny amounts of microplastics, but at levels considered safe. If that worries you, then buy reputable brands, or mine table salt, and look for published quality testing. Is there a way that commercially available sea salt is clean to remove all the nasties so we aren't eating that? The short answer is yes. In a commercial operation, the seawater may be filtered several times to remove impurities before being boiled or reduced to extract the salt. The salt itself then goes through several other processes to ensure that it is relatively free of contaminants. Other comments touched on filtering, so I'll address the bigger picture. No filter can remove all fish poo from your salt. You eat an atomic amount of poo every single day. Your nose functions by detecting the shape of aerosolized particles, and many of those detectable particle shapes are dedicated to poo. So if you have ever smelled poo before, then you have directly inhaled poo particles. The very atoms in your body existed long before life ever did. Many of the atoms in your body were likely poo at some point in their journey to you, and if you or your descendants are ever eaten by a tiger, then they may yet become poo again. If you are reading this anywhere near a toilet, you are capturing poo particles with your fingers and smearing them on the screen as you read this. Even if you aren't, there are likely poo particles captured deep within the ridges of your fingertips, just waiting to transfer somewhere else. The amount of poo you interact with on any given day is a spectrum, not an absolute. TLDR, ingesting atomic quantities of poo is safe. You just throw micronutrients on the label and charge double. Commercial sea salt production isn't going through any special superfiltration steps. Pathogens aren't going to survive a 100% salt environment, especially after being cooked for days or weeks. So it's inherently safe to eat. Just gross to think about. They gradually remove water over extended periods of time to get other minerals like calcium to settle out so that it's mostly just pure NaCl. There would be minuscule quantities of fish poop in there, and most organic micro-life should be harmless by time you've desiccated it in near pure salt. If you're somewhere with notable pollution, then a lot of those pollutants will end up in the salt, which probably isn't great. But unless you're living somewhere with fairly serious industry nearby, it's hard to imagine there would be that much toxic material in the water that it would be an issue at any level of salt consumption that wouldn't kill you regardless of contamination. An issue you won't escape, no matter where you do this or how clean the water is that sea salt contains a lot of salts other than sodium chloride. For example, there's a lot of magnesium chloride and calcium chloride in there that both taste pretty bad. They are bitter to taste. So to make sea salt taste palatable, it needs processing to remove the milligram and Ca salts.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next exciting video.